we're gonna do today, guys, is we're gonna go and try and spear ourselves a white sucker. Every single spring, these suckers make their spawning run from the ponds and the lakes and everything up into the small streams and rivers. And my friend, he highly recommended that I go and try to eat one of these. He said that he used to eat them, and especially in the springtime when they're doing their spawning, supposedly they taste absolutely great. I guess the only problem is that they're a pretty bony fish, which is probably gonna be annoying. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get onto a spot on the river that we can see them, and the spear's only about 5 feet, so I have to be pretty close to them in order to make it work. We'll see if we can get close enough to one. Alright guys, so I tried to find a spot with a sandy bottom that would really outline their shadow, and obviously you can see there's a bunch of them in the frame here, but I didn't want to send a spear down the back side of them. I wanted to try and make it as humane as possible and get them in the head, so I decided to switch up my stance here and get a little bit downriver of them. So once I got downstream of them, all I did was wait for them to come back and waited for one to set back on the sand. And as you guys can see, I missed here, but then I just got reset up, and it took a couple minutes for them to come back. But then I saw this big one on the right, and you can see here on the left, this huge one shows up. And what do? I send the spear right into the smaller one. But I got my fish, guys. And now we're headed back to the house. We got our white sucker here. It is a pretty big female, if I'm not mistaken. And we're gonna fillet her up and see what we can get off of her. Now work with me because I've never filleted a sucker before. I know that they're super bony, and with all these scales, we're gonna wanna skin it as well. We'll do our best and see what we can get off of her. Alright guys, there's one fillet down. Actually doesn't look that bad. I can feel a whole ton of bones inside of it though. And as you can see here, the sucker eggs, we might save those for bait for later. And there's our second fillet. So we got the fillets inside here, and as you can see, they look just like any other fish. The only difference is that they're absolutely loaded with bones. They got a whole row up here and a whole row down here as well. And I'm pretty sure that these bones are going to be Y bones, which are probably going to be miserable to eat, but we'll do our best and we'll cook it up. What we're coating it in today is just regular flour, ocean sea salt, ground cayenne pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. Alright, I think these are about done. Oh, we can already see the bones sticking out of it right there. This is probably going to be a good eating experience. It tastes really good actually, but holy crap, is that a lot of bones. I had to get some water. There were so many of them in there. And look, you can just see them as I'm getting into this next fillet here. Dang, that's a bony fish. But overall, as taste goes, I mean, that's a really good tasting fish. I just wish it wasn't loaded with bones. And I'm not sure if there was actually a way that you could even fillet them to not get all these little Y bones in there. Actually, up by the shoulder, it seemed to have less bones than down by the tail. Maybe I got a piece without it. Let's try a bigger piece. That's actually really good, and there's a lot less bones up by the shoulder side. So from the water to the table in about an hour, it was a really good tasting fish, but those bones almost make it like impossible to eat, at least through the tail. It seemed as though the ones in the shoulders cooked out, at least enough so that I didn't notice them, but I could see how that would be a really unpleasant eating experience. But overall, I would try to eat it again. It was the first fish that I've ever speared like that. It was also the first white sucker that I've ever eaten. And if there was a way to get rid of those bones, I would probably eat them more often actually, because it was a really good tasting fish. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button if you would like to see more videos from me in the future. As always guys, remember, live free, fish more.